even louder than this. Could everyone take a seat, please, now?
Hello, hello. We're going to start. Please take your seats. Can you take your seats, please? Thank you. We're going to start in about 2 minutes. Thank you. My name is Patrick. No, you work with Julia? You do? Okay. Is your peer in the... Okay, so between the two of you, you do so much damage that there's no end. Yes. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. Are you in the same airport?
We had an event with
Well, then I got to see you.
insurance and telematics.
Thank you, sir. That's why you were talking to Gassi, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we can take it.
So, did you get it? Yeah. Have it in your pocket. Somebody was saying that you must take a look, so they wanted a card. So I was writing. Nobody will ask for a business card. You need to put it in. When you remember fighting?
Hi, everyone. Can you still hear me now? Yeah, I think it's good. Okay, it's time for everyone to actually take a seat and start the meeting. So welcome to Prime and French Tech Hub. I'm Helen. Some of you may have seen me at the door, some other the registration table. Some few words about Prime. So Prime is the American office for the Paris Region Enterprise. We have very specific missions, in fact. One of them is to promote the Paris region. The second one is to attract investments to go to the Paris region and not some scary other places like Ireland or Dublin or London even. So that's what we are trying to do. And our last mission is actually to initiate technological partnerships between American entities and French ones. So we work a lot with R&D centers and universities to do that. And that will be all for Prime. I will leave the floor to my boss, who is also the boss of French Tech Hub.
Thank you. Thank you, Hélène. You did very good, Hélène.
Thank you.
Good. So welcome to the French Tech Hub. Just a few words about the French Tech Hub. We are an incubator, an accelerator for French startups. And you may know, maybe you don't know, but we have a lot of startups now in France. It's a big change. I remember 20 years ago that wasn't the case, but now we have probably about 10,000 startups in France. Just in Paris, in the Paris region, we have about 5,000 startups. And we have many incubators just in the Paris region. I think we have like 70, 75 incubators in the Paris region. So what we do at the French Tech Hub, we help them to succeed in their deployment in North America. So we provide a large series of services to do that. We do coaching, and we also help them on the business side. So go-to-market strategy, marketing, positioning, website, business development. And then when they decide to come in the US, we have 2 incubators, one here and the other one in Boston. So they can have an office, we have open space, and we help them to start their operation, starting a subsidiary of their company, starting to get their visa, the accounting, all the administrative stuff we need to take care of. We started about 2 years ago, and we are growing like crazy. In fact, we are also a startup. We are selling our services, so I can say this is our client. So far we have 81 clients and counting, and we are extremely happy to see all of this innovation, entrepreneurship coming from France and merging into the dynamic ecosystem of Silicon Valley. So thank you again for being here. Actually, you are the next one.
Hi everyone. I also have a French accent, but don't worry, I'm the last one with a French accent tonight. So, my name is Patrick Christensen. I'm the Marketing and Partnerships Manager for The Hive, which is a US organization. And I'm going to say a few words about The Hive Think Tank. The Hive Think Tank is a community of practitioners, data scientists, designers, artists, all focused on big data. We host events almost every week, mostly in the South Bay, but we tend to do more and more here in San Francisco. And we would really like to thank Prime for having us tonight. This is like the home of the future to me. I love this place. So we have over 5,000 members, part of our community. We've had over 150 speakers the past 18 months, and we have hosted over 60 events, all focused on big data. Those are our upcoming events. The first one is the one we're having tonight. Next one is next week. It's going to be a little bit more technical on the infrastructure and machine learning. We'll have great companies represented with a moderator from Facebook. So don't miss this one. It's going to be at HP in Palo Alto. And it's going to be at LinkedIn in Mountain View. And the following week we'll have a new startup series kicking off with Alistair Quall from Overly Media. I'm sure most of you have known about him, have heard about him. We'd like to thank our sponsors as well, and Prime, which is one of our partners. And I'm going to leave the floor to my boss, who is TM Ravi, founder of The Hive. And for tonight's event, make sure to use the hashtag HiveData. Let's continue the conversation online. I think we have the login information a little bit everywhere, but don't hesitate to ask me if you need to log in. Thank you.
Thank you, Pashu. So welcome. We have a special connection to Prime and the French Tech Hub. Thank you, Xavier, Patrick, and then thank you for hosting us. So we hope to do more of these events if you're agreeable. So a number of you asked who is The Hive, what is The Hive? So The Hive is a think tank that Pashu talked about. We also are a fund, so we typically are funding companies between $1.5 million and $3 million at the seed stage. We also create and incubate companies. All three things with one common theme. They're all driven by data. So you'll see sort of our particular focus in the fund and incubator is around applications. Three key segments: enterprise, online, and Internet of Things. So today's event around Connected Home is one in a series of events. We did one where Mo was also speaking around telco and IoT, and you'll see us do a whole variety of events. One that is coming up probably in September that Kamesh behind is putting together is going to be on the software-defined factory. So you'll have people from GE, Siemens, and others speaking. We are hiring, and so a number of our companies at least are hiring. So Foghorn is an IoT company that is in the application development and deployment space, and they're looking for some engineers. E8 is a security company with a French co-founder. And so if you're interested, jobs@hivedata.com. And so be sure to be part of the conversation tonight. So use the hashtag HiveData. And I just want to recognize Arihant Patni here, who heads up the Hive in India, who happens to be in town. So welcome to your first Hive USA. And they have 3 events going on in the next 2 weeks. And in India, when they do events, it's like 400 or 500 people like that. So welcome. So with that, I'll have Pashu introduce the panel.
I'm going to introduce Jerry. Sorry, I have my sheet here. So Jerry is associate principal, and he's an architect at Perkinsville. He knows the city very well, especially this area, and he has been involved with the planning of 2 major projects in San Francisco, Treasure Island and Mission Rock, and he also worked for the Panama Pacifico Redevelopment Project in Panama City. And so the 3 of these projects have been selected by the Clinton Climate Initiative's Climate Positive Development Program as a global demonstration models for sustainable urban development. He's also very interested in everything related to IoT, and he's, I'll let the floor to you, I guess, and I'll let you introduce the panelists. Thank you. Thanks for being here, Jerry.
Thank you, Pashu. Yeah. So before I get to, I have to kind of like come clean here because I'm not a tech person. I am an architect, urban designer, planner, and so look at me as the kind of consumer. If you're in the tech business and you're talking about producing these products, you kind of have to sell them to me as the consumer. So if I come at this with somewhat of a skeptical air, I hope you just cut me some slack because I'm kind of playing catch up and I'm looking for that smart killer app, that product that you're going to put out there, and I'm going to go, wow, that is amazing. I've got to have that. You know, and I've talked to a couple of people tonight, and I've heard a couple of things that's going, yeah, actually, I could really go for that, or I could go for that. There was a gentleman over here who has monitoring seniors down in Palo Alto. I thought, man, that could be a real game changer in how we deal with geriatric care, you know, healthcare and things like that. There's another person talking about parental controls on you know, their kids. You know, couldn't kind of go online until they'd done their homework. And I'm going like, as a parent, yeah, I could go for that, you know. So these are the kind of the serendipitous things that I'll be looking for. You know, so anyway, I just want to kind of come clean that I'm not coming at this from a tech background. We have got some really amazing, I think, people here on the panel. And I'm going to be asking them to introduce themselves because there's no way I can do them justice. But we have Reza Rajiv, who I think is like a serial startup person. I mean, we've gone through so much stuff there. Maybe it's a medical condition, I don't know. But, you know, I mean, this gentleman here, his resume just is eye-popping. We have Mo Tanabian. He's going to introduce himself from Samsung, and then Shane Dyer. So I'm going to have all 3 of you just stand up here and take your seat up front. And I want each of you to kind of, I'm going to pass the mic down here, to just tell a little bit about yourself, what brings you to this market, and just kind of like, so all the people out there really know a little bit about you. And I'm going to, actually, since the mic is down there with Shane, why don't you kick us off?
Sure. First of all, thank you so much for having us tonight, and looking forward to kicking off a little bit on the Connected Home. This is pretty exciting in that this is all the stuff you can tell your grandmother about that you might get. So it's an exciting time to be doing this right now. I'm Shane Dyer. I'm the CEO of Arrayant. Arrayant's a company that helps major manufacturers, retailers, and service providers put together connected products and systems of those connected products. So you probably know us if you've seen like the Chamberlain garage door, internet-connected garage door commercials, or seen that product in the Apple Store. Or if you looked at products from like Whirlpool on their smart appliances or things like that, that's Arrayant empowering those solutions. And our take on this is definitely one that centers on the consumer, which is people aren't going to do very much to start picking these products out. So I'm excited to talk to the panelists about that.
So let's, in order here, Reza, I mean, tell us about yourself. We'll keep it to under about 10 minutes or so.
I'll make it really quick. I hate talking about myself. So I'm Reza Raji. I'm kind of a builder, maker since I was a kid, and that seems to have propagated to my adult life. And I've gone from one startup to another. And the last one, I'm in the middle of one right now, but we don't know anything about that because it's in stealth mode. Although I'll tell you a little bit about it. But the one I did prior to that was called iControl, which I founded back in 2003. And iControl is not a household name by any means, but you're almost pretty sure every one of you have heard of the product that is generated. It's the platform behind all the interactive home security and automation offerings from Comcast and ADT and Time Warner and Cox and Rogers and those guys. So if you see commercials for ADT Pulse or Comcast Xfinity Home, you whip out your iPhone and arm your security system and check to see if your kids are home from school or whatever. And those are all based on iControl's platform. So it started when IoT was not even coined, cloud was not being used, it was called internet. And so anyway, that was kind of an interesting ride, and it still is. We raised about 130 million through some great investors and partners, and it's down in Silicon Valley. So that was my last gig. So and before that, I was with a company called Echelon, and that's kind of where I came up with the idea for iControl. And Echelon is, if you don't know them, it's an automation control company focused on homes, buildings, factories, planes, trains, and automobiles. Anything that can take automation control, that's what they do. They provide kind of a protocol and technology for that. Is that enough?
I think that's good for starters anyway. So Mo.
I'm Mo Tanabian, and I'm the head of Smart Things IoT Innovation Lab for Samsung Electronics. We're based in San Jose. And our mandate is to develop multi-device scenarios for Samsung. Samsung has a lot of different devices that our device portfolio is vast. But most of them are silos. They provide a certain type of experience to our users. My team's mandate is to connect them together, to build things that they can only do together and enable those. To do that, we have a philosophy in our team. We call it the product innovation the maker way. And I'm sure that most of you know what makers are. We hire engineers that they're not just engineers. They know design, they can do woodwork, they can do machining if they need to be, and vice versa. We hire designers, industrial designers or visual designers, UX designers who can code, who can touch Arduino. If they don't, they learn it. That's kind of the maker nature of our business. The only way we can pull off these type of new innovative products and services are to get the right people for it. The type of products that we build, for example, we build devices for listening online music that will know after a few weeks of using them what your music preferences are on Saturday mornings. Or we build a fridge that knows exactly how many bananas you have left in the fridge. And we have a home automation platform and a smart home platform that connects them all together and brings this whole device-to-device experience to life. Exciting times. I'm very excited to be here and part of this discussion. Hopefully we're going to get something out of it.
Thank you. It's interesting. A little bit about semantics here, I think, because when Shane said connected homes, and that's actually when Pashu first contacted us, it was connected homes, and it's evolved into homes of the future. But in talking about this with Mo, the term smart homes came up, and maybe we're at an inflection point. And for those of us who really haven't been closely following this topic, what do we mean by the term connected home? And I think, Mo, you had mentioned that we're really moving from connected home to smart home. And what does that mean? And, because we hear of this and we're just wondering, is there a chance of again, connected home, smart home, we're smart this and smart that? Is that going to become the new green, greenwashing as well? How do we avoid that? But I think the distinction between a connected home and a smart home as a kind of a setting out the ground rules might be good. So Mo, I might just have you kick off with that question.
Absolutely. So, great question. We used to call anything connected smart. Smartphone, smartwatch, smart TV, that just meant it has a Wi-Fi connection or Bluetooth connection. Somehow can get itself on from about a couple of years ago, that definition is kind of transforming into a different meaning. Smart really means smart. I give you a very good example that most of you probably know. We have had Wi-Fi connected thermostats for a while, but the first thermostat that went about providing a thermostat functionality from experience perspective, not from technology perspective, was Nest. And they did that by incorporating machine learning into the connectedness of the thermostat. But they allow the user to really have an easy time with it. Anything in smart home or connected home, which has been around for the last 10, 15, 20 years, from X10 all the way up to Insteon and different things. I don't know if you've ever tried them, if you've ever installed them or used them. They're very difficult to manage. You really have to have a lot of passion to go through the pain installing them and then using them. But things are changing. Now, with introduction of machine learning and some of this cloud engines that they work based on the data that these connected devices are providing to them, they take a lot of that pain away, and they're making a lot of things that the user should have done if they weren't there, and this is a great example. So the distinction between connected home and smart home, in my view, is all smart homes are connected, but not all connected homes are smart.
That's a good answer there. And you know, I think it's correct to say that up until now, the average kind of consumer, you know, the idea of a connected or smart home has really they've been pushed into the market. That is that the market is kind of like saying, you know, this is what I want you to buy, when ideally you want them to be in kind of like a pull market, that you are producing a product that will pull them into the market. And I want to ask the panel here, you know, what products or services will, in your mind, you know, pull them into the market? And why haven't we seen a broader adoption of smart home technologies yet? Has that been cost, complexity, or lack of standardization? And I don't know whether, Reza, whether you want to take that. Sure.
Happy to do that. Since I got the mic, I'm not giving it to you.
Let's start.
You know, first of all, I just want to address that smart home thing. The smart home term has been used for, 40 years now. It's been on the Popular Science cover for 40 years. So I don't particularly think it matters what we call it. I hate labels like that. It's been around, it's been talked about forever. Nothing's really happened for years and years and years. I think it's starting to finally happen. But I think, and I've talked about this, I think a lot of the stuff that's been out there for a number of years, to your push and pull thing, has been trying to push itself onto consumers, right? You know, get this toaster that will tell you you left it on when you go out of the house, or get this scale that, you know, tells you something else when you're in the office, or whatever those things are. So you always have had to convince users and consumers why they have to go get this next cool widget thing, as opposed to building a product that people are gonna pull, they're gonna want it, they're gonna say, wow, this is great, because it's not just because it's a cool conversation piece or it's beautiful, because those are important, but that will wear off after a while. But they truly offer a value that goes beyond the first month or two after the buyer's remorse sets in, the period ends. And they deliver something to you that's pretty good. Your car drives you around, there's value in that, right? Your refrigerator keeps your food fresh, there's value in that. Your smart thermos, your Nest tells you that maybe, you know, adjust your thermostat, so there's value in that. You know, if you have a you know, a fridge that has, you know, a touchscreen on it that really is just essentially a laptop on your fridge, is there value in that? Maybe, but is it a mass market value? So that's what I meant by push and pull. It's like the challenge has been most, if not all, of home automation and smart home products historically have been push products. And here's a solution waiting for a problem, as opposed to delivering something that people can really use. And of course, a lot of obstacles have been there. You know, we didn't have connectivity, we didn't have smartphones until relatively recently. we didn't have this expectation of, you all do in the audience, right? You guys all, whether you like it or not, know what apps are, and you can pinch in and swipe and all these things that 7 years ago, none of you knew what they meant. So we've all been educated, thanks to Apple and Samsung and others. So the consumer education is going up, the expectations are going up, and we're all getting smarter. I think it's been incremental, but the last 2 or 3 years, I think it's starting to hockey stick as well, because we've seen all the stuff that's been deployed now. The TV commercials, I mean, what was that? Before 3 years ago, I don't know if you guys have, I've never seen any TV commercials for anything around smart home and home automation. You know, internet, yes, VoIP and phone, yes, HBO, TV, yes, but security and automation, not for the mass market. And that's changing, which is phenomenal. So.
Great. Shane, do you have anything?
Wow, smart home. Nobody wakes up on Saturday morning with a smart home problem, even now. So I think this has been something where we tend to overshoot the consumer year over year as we've gone through for the past 30 years in home automation. The part that is incredibly exciting to me are all these sort of accidental smart homes that are smart homes that are occurring, where I didn't necessarily know I was going to buy a connected product, but I walked in a store and I looked at the one that had an app, and I went, oh man, it really matters to me that I leave my garage door open and I go to work and I do the U-turn and I come back. So I'm going to buy the one that comes with an app, so I don't have to do that anymore. I can just check it. And then there might be that other product, that makes like my basement flooded, my sump pump with, didn't turn on or something similar. Wouldn't it be great to just get that message to let me know that, my basement's flooding, my sump pump's not keeping up because that contractor cost me $20,000. And I think what we're going to start to see is, as we've sort of embraced smartphone, which was the big missing piece we didn't have before, a lot of these, a lot of the way these products are approached are, I've sort of picked my screens, my interface points, right? They're my phone and maybe my tablet. And I'm not too interested in a big computer on a product that might help me figure out these things, but I believe that will be simple. I want to be in my house and figuring out how to program my sprinkler controller, rather than wandering out in the shed every spring and pushing those little buttons with that little LCD, things like that. Products that don't have connectivity are going to seem increasingly impolite. The same way that when you go rent the cheap car and it doesn't have power door locks and it's got 4 doors, that seems like a pretty broken product right now. So I think that's the way the smart home will go through. And what's really incumbent on us on the technology side is, okay, that's the way they're going to adopt, but we've got to have really good technology on the back end to start making these products compatible. And that compatibility, especially initially right now, while all these networks are fragmented, is going to occur in the cloud. So that's kind of how we see the push versus pull.
Following up on this, what are the likely smart home scenarios that are going to gain broader adoption first? And I'm going to put this to Yumo, security, remote monitoring, remote health, energy management, all of these. I mean, where do you see, obviously Samsung here heavily invested in this, so where do you see these scenarios going first?
Sure. I think the fundamental way that these devices and services are being acquired and paid for by consumers highly correlate with the value that they provide. And that goes to what Reza was saying, that it has to solve the problem. If you just slap a tablet on a fridge, why do you want to use a tablet on a fridge? Really? Why do you want to even pay for it? So the scenarios that we're seeing that they're basically pulling most of the consumer's money and interest primarily are around safety and security. If you're adding a connected device to your home that also allows you to have a safer and more secure house for your family, being anti-theft and regular alarm systems or smoke detector or fire alarm or things like that. Those are the primary use cases that people are now willing for and willing to pay for. And that goes for the device ecosystem and the managed service side of it, which Comcast or AT&T or ADT are providing to users. Beyond that, there is the convenience side of the smart home, which you basically go and program something, a light fixture, or your door, or your robotic vacuum cleaner, or your thermostat to do some things automatically, to program them. Those are also, we're seeing a little less interest based on the market research that we did, but they're still strong. Anything that has to do with energy management and energy saving, it's more like a good feel, really. Even the most successful device in the market does not do much about energy saving. When you look at it, there's actually a paper out there called Learning from the Learning Thermostat from the University of Michigan. If you guys read it, they've done pretty darn good research, thorough with a bunch of families. And it says at the end, there's not much dollar saving, but it's that good.